want to thank everyone for coming tonight, and I appreciate your passion and concern for this town and what's going to take place tonight. I just want you to please bear in mind that this is a business meeting, maintaining professionalism and proper decorum is imperative. This legislative body must conduct the public business effectively and productively. Then, if you'd like to address the board and not sign up as a petitioner, the privilege of the board is open for that purpose. Once the agenda item is concluded, no comments entitled to be received from the floor. Attendees are reserved at that point and should not interrupt the proceedings. So before we even start our regular meeting, we do have a public hearing that's on for the town of before we even allow the district rezoning project. Is there anybody that would like to comment on the public hearing? We also have Anthony here from MRB who can answer any questions. Basically, it's a hearing on changing some parcels in town from N1 industrial until C1 local retail. That's the Pierce area. So anybody want to comment before I close the public hearing? Okay, this time I'm going to close the public hearing. Will the clerk please take a roll call on the board members?
I will. Supervisor Schmitter?
Present.
Councilman Seneca?
Here.
Councilman Valera?
Here.
Councilman Dyson?
Here.
Councilwoman Leskowski? Here.
And I'm going to please rise to the pledge of allegiance and go around this hall. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please hold this silence. Thank you. Okay, this is going to be start on the two proposals for the SMI. One would be the non-renewable understanding and land commit. The board of these separately, and then each board member will vote like a roll call area where they can vote and make a comment. First, I'd like to mention two common questions that come up with people discussing the land. One, I hear a lot of people say that, well, Ontario landfill closed theirs, you should close yours. I just want people to know that Ontario. Testing. Okay, so some of the common questions are, well, Ontario closed theirs, why don't you close yours? It's a little bit different because Ontario actually owned their landfill. So people must understand, Seneca Falls does not own this landfill. It's owned by a company out of Texas. We don't have the right just to close someone's business. Okay? But I just want to it's different than Ontario. It's not the same country. The state is one who issued the permit for the vote or not. And the other common question is where's the trash go? Our trash go. We already paid to have our trash picked up. We can't send it someplace else, so I won't see that as a deterrent either way. What will happen to our tax rate? So I did some work on that. Without management revenue, if we cut nothing or did anything else, your taxes would go up for a house for $200,598 a year. Okay, so we could make cuts or it wouldn't affect that hardly at all. And then there's a question, what would we do with the money if we got all that money for that? Well, I would see this, if it was properly invested, in probably about 10 years, this is how we never have to pay taxes with just the interest we would get on the money. So those are just a few questions I wanted to bring up because I get calls from people asking those questions. So now here we have the resolution authorizing the town supervisor to sign the memorandum of understanding with Seneca. So the MOU is a signed agreement between the town of Seneca Falls and SMI to adopt the new host community agreement. This was not the SMI Commission operated. It is an agreement that only goes into effect if the state issues a permit for SMI to operate a landfill. I see it as an insurance policy that protects the town if SMI receives a permit from the state to operate. If you do not have a host community in place, when the permit is granted, you go back to the old agreement. This new host community agreement has more protection for the town for road mitigation, truck traffic control, and other financial package. I cannot stress enough that this protects the town if the state allows SMI to expand. For this reason, I personally voted yes to the host community agreement. And we'll go down the board and see if we could.
Yes.
I think it's important for us to have this, but at this time I'm going to say no. I was not satisfied with the Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Next up on the resolution would be the Seneca Meadows landfill.
Put the mic up to your mouth.
Next up is the renewal of Seneca Meadows landfill. So we'll start down with the pavement down there, give it back to Mike, we'll come back this way. Their vote on the Seneca, issuing a permit to Seneca Meadows.
Yes.
On what one? Yes.
no.
So my comment on the permit is, I considered all the letters. So I consider all the letters, speeches, and conversations I've had with the people, public, or SMI expansion. So I go back to when I coached youth sports for many years. During that time, I would have other coaches, parents, and players complain about the child that is always late, missing practices, that they should be penalized. My answer was, they are just children, it's not their fault. They don't drive, it's the parents' responsibility. With that in mind, I thought about the players in the schools, about the voters. I thought, these children, they do as they're told. They get up, they go to school, whether it's on the bus or walking. Yet, we don't protect them from the order. We put them in harm's way, and it's not their fault. We all have children, grandchildren, or know someone who attends one of these schools, close to landfills. Should we protect them? I believe Kyle and his fellow workers truly try their best to run the best landfill operation possible. Yet, we do need a place to dump our trash, but I believe the landfill should be located in a place away from residents, schools, and business. For this reason, I am voting no to the issue of the Does that conclude our issues on the landfill? At this point, I have a petitioner, Jeff Shipley, if you'd like to come up.
Okay. Thank you. Good evening, Town Board. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. I'm here to request your support for a resolution that will officially back the creation of the Harriet Tubman Underground Railroad Scenic Byway. To clarify, this resolution would show the town of Seneca Falls support for the creation of a state scenic byway, similar to the already existing Cable Lake scenic byway. A scenic byway is a public road that has special scenic, historic, recreational, cultural, archaeological, or natural significance. The designation is managed by the state DOT, and the process for securing this designation, as you can imagine, with the state is pretty rigorous. So one key requirement is that each municipality the byway passes through must demonstrate support via an official resolution. So Seneca County Tourism has been working with tourism promotion offices across the state since last year to move this opportunity forward. The Harriet Tubman Underground Railroad scenic byway will span 550 miles across 22 counties in New York State, from New York City to Niagara Falls. It will pass through more than 160 municipalities. In Seneca County, the byway will connect Auburn on the east, home of the Harriet Tubman Home and National Historical Park, to Seneca Falls. It will travel along routes 5 and 20 through Tyre into Seneca Falls, down Cayuga Street and Fall Street, before continuing on to Waterloo and Geneva. The creation of this scenic byway will provide significant benefits to Seneca Falls and the surrounding area. It will serve as an asset for tourism, education, and economic development, helping boost visitation during traditionally slower months like February, and foster, hopefully, a greater sense of community pride. As the birthplace of women's rights, Seneca Falls has a legacy that I think many are familiar with. However, it's important to recognize the strong connection between the abolitionist and suffrage movements, with many of the individuals being involved in both efforts. Both movements were rooted in the belief that all people are equal. So local historians and tourism partners have already uncovered many stories and connections to the Harriet Tubman and the Underground Railroad and the freedom seekers in our community. Supporting this byway gives us a chance to elevate these stories, strengthen our community's legacy, and build strategic partnerships across the state to grow tourism. So in closing, thank you for considering this resolution and a very important initiative. We appreciate your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. We appreciate your hard work on this. So now we're going to privilege to the floor. Sign the sheet. But I call your name, you come up here, I'll call the second name, and they can wait to talk. So first we'll be given 3 minutes. Elaine Packman, you're up first. And whoever lives at 2377 Lower Lake Road. Can't read the name. Elaine here? You have David Winters.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity. I'm actually appalled that this was voted on this evening, that I've sat through Seneca Falls meetings, I've sat through the solid waste meetings, to see that we're only 1%, 35,000 people are 1% of the contributors of the solid waste in this county. And at that meeting, the dump was not even part of the plan. And Mr. Cronenwetter said that he was going to ask the state to investigate the local impact on health, safety, and environment on our citizens and our community. I don't see that report in your memorandum of understanding and how that played into the fact that you voted for this tonight. And in direct contrary to all the enraged people who came out and who sent you letters to say that they did not want this in our town any further. So let's talk about the Harriet Tub. Wonderful. Wonderful that we have all these historic things, but what's our history going to be? Is it going to be that we were the women's suffrage, that we were going to be abolitionists supporting that effort, or is it going to be that we have ruined our community with the dump? Ruined our health, ruined our land, ruined our water, ruined our future. It's unacceptable. Totally unacceptable. I have to tell you that you have used subterfuge, delay, so that you could exhaust your citizens, so that you could pass this tonight without ever taking into consideration all the factors that you absolutely have a legal, have a moral, have a political obligation to do your due diligence, and you haven't done it. Where in that agreement does it say that you've taken any of this into consideration? In fact, it's not there. There's monitoring requirements that have nothing of any substance to them. They have any type of deliverables to protect the health and safety of this community. Do you think that that's doing your due diligence? Do you think that you're serving your community? No, you are not. And I absolutely. This has been a sham of an agreement. This has been a sham of a political process. You have put the health and safety of your constituents, you basically tossed it aside. And you've tossed away our present, and you're tossing away our future. And it's unacceptable. And I hope that when you, the voters of this county, vote in the future, that you take into consideration what's been done here this evening. It is totally, totally unacceptable.
I have my 3 minutes is up. Thank you.
My name is David Winters, and I'm from Ovid. And I expect to be speaking before, not after the vote. But one of the things is recognizing the players. This is not about the ones who work at the dump. They do a great job. Actually, that company has gone out of their way to try and even do things that help to not have a landfill be so much. Not much incentive, but at least they're going out of their way to figure other ways. The town board here, the way we even got to dump, it's like a backdoor thing. They gave a landlord said, yes, you may. And another landlord sold it, we sold it to another landlord, another contractor, sold it to Canada, now Texas. And I submit to you, I've never met a person from that place in these meetings from Texas. DEC also. DEC, when people call, the DEC does this. They probably come in with a request, and they check the air quality once the wind is changed from the one who made the request. They turn a blind eye. So even this host committee agreement, because honestly, the quality of life, standard of living, our fair share, we'd be happy to do fair share. But we're going to do something from New York City, we're going to do something all over the Northeast, and our quality of life and our standard of living are now going to be compromised. So even if we got 150 million, now I'm going to force them to pay over 10 years, 15 million, even if it was 150 million, is it worth? Because none of us are going to carry any of that money away with us. Our house values, if we decide our quality of life, standard of living is in the tank, I'm out of here. We don't bring any of that with us. And who will that be going to be attracting into this town? I mean, to me, this says this is now going to be going on forever. This hill, this east mountains I call them, there's no end to it. And so it's not the people who are working there, it's this board here. Yes, we can. They said if we as local people decide that we don't want this here anymore for any reasons, then New York State has to honor the local will of the people. And the will of the people is, yes, we can take our fair share, but no, we don't want all the rest of the Northeast of Canada and the owner that isn't even living here and the PDC that turns a blind eye to trust that this will ever end. So I'm disappointed with what was here done here tonight.
Shannon Falk.
Good evening. My name's Eugene King. I'm from Robert over here. I don't think anybody can switch my name. That's the whole point. When I think everybody here, most people got it. I know it's not big here. But I had to be here. It says, demand that the town open its books and disclose the amount of reserve it has to replace the need for additional funding from landfill. We understand that the town is fully capable of operating without landfill subsidies, without raising taxes or on constituents for at least 10 years, and this should not become a secret to taxpayers. When I read that, the only thing that caught my attention is why do we have to ask them to open the books? Are they always open, or is this something that is hidden from us? I think all towns and all areas should have their financial books open and that the constituents can see what's going on. That's the only thing that really caught my attention. Thank you.
I can't read your writing, but it's from Lodi, maybe Joka.
As the daughter of a practiced liar, i.e. a politician who single-handedly destroyed the Petroleum Server Basin, thank you tonight, you've been along with lawyers, very happy. This isn't going to stand. What you did tonight will not stand. I didn't write to the board prior to this. It could be very happy because I bet correctly, I'm government transparency. You rigged this thing. You rigged this vote. So they take into account 70% that are against what you do. So I did write to the New York Times. And Jesse McKinley, who came up here in 2023, you have a new lead for your story. You wrote one in 2023, why a landfill as tall as the Statue of Liberty may rise even higher. I suggested you change it to how it's rising higher. Because you rigged the vote tonight. That's what you did. You did some rigging. I've seen it. So here's what I wrote to the New York Times. I am in the majority. 70% of the residents of Seneca Falls will urge the Board of Supervisors not to issue an operating permit in Seneca Falls for a host agreement. The Board of Supervisors are supposed to be public servants. After taking 4 board meetings, I think tomorrow's night's vote has already been rigged against the town. As I find it suspicious that board president Frank Schmitter announced in December that for March, for tomorrow night's important vote, the privilege of the floor would be after the vote. It's ironic that Frank Schmitter arbitrarily in 2024 made a decision to remove the police chief's dog, which is why I entered the building in the first place, and noticed something smells in Seneca Falls. I CC Jesse McKinley of the New York Times. Yes, something with a global voice that can write an article that is outside of the Finger Lakes propaganda paper. Yes. About the larger issue. 3 days here in September, before I submitted a piece to the New York Times, the bill rise higher. Because your CEO is a California resident. Ronald Middlestad is not living in Texas. He lives in California, in El Dorado Hills, where he runs a winery called, love this, Too Good. And And if you know anything about writers, you have to have them in Sacramento, it ain't any good. So I don't know that. And number two, we have corporate laws in New York. 2027, New York State has to have a vote on whether this stands or not. And also, the company is owned by, right now, it's got 29,293,000, so it's 11% is held by Vanguard, which is in Pennsylvania, that's okay. It's the other Royal Trust Corporation of Canada, BMO, that's Bank of Montreal folks, Fidelity Investments Canada, 3 Canadian companies, which by the way, our president today decided to do 25% tariffs on Canada. Are we going to charge them for the donkeys, for dumping their Canada trash here? That's all I have.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Eric Jodka. I'm a resident of Lodi. I also am a resident of the state of Florida. New York State law provides for immunity for elected officials for their official acts. There's an exception to that. The exception is gross negligence. This board knows right now that there is no way that the operators of Senate committees can check and review garbage that's coming in. They don't know whether it's coming from the nuclear waste plant, from a leather factory, or from my house. That's gross negligence of the legal standard. They can be sued personally for that as soon as somebody suffers an injury as a result of what they're doing in Senate attendance. Just want you to know. Thank you.
I brought props. Okay, I want to see a show of hands.
Show of hands of who in this room read the draft environmental impact statement, all 183 pages. I read it. You read it. Good for you. Well, this isn't over. This is just what we expected tonight. Our town board just rolled over and said, welcome, come on in. Well, it's not over because the DEC has not issued the permit yet. So I would like to talk tonight about the infill project. These are my graphics. I don't do PowerPoint. So I read all of the pages, and I'm going to concentrate mainly on, I can't even read it now. I'm only going to concentrate on the physicality of the Tantello landfill. No, I just need my glasses on this one. There we go. Okay. All the facts that I'm talking about tonight were taken from the Valley Infill Project. I read it, and also the DEC corrections that were requested, and the video that appears on the SMI landfill website. Okay. So what I have here is the bowl. They call it a bowl. Around all the edges of the Tantello infill is trash. Okay, and in the center, 27 acres of the Tantello landfill that was toxic waste Superfund site that was closed after the Love Canal fiasco, okay? Nobody knows what was put in there, in the trash site. But people have said they saw drums of chemicals
from Sylvania, Evans Cosmetics, Gould's Pumps. Everybody was dumping their toxic trash in the center. Okay? So, the site was declared a hazardous waste Superfund site following the Love Canal disaster in 1978, and SNY assumed control in 1983. It was classified an inactive hazardous waste site in 2009. So we have here in the center the Tantello landfill site, okay? All those green things are barrels and drums of who knows what, okay? A composite cap covered the 26 acres in 1998. At the southern end, it's known as the bedrock knob. So what are they going to do? Well, first they're going to pull back that synthetic liner that was put down and remove a certain percentage of the trash. Then, and if it's declared not toxic, they'll move it to another place. If it's suspicious, they will set it aside to be dealt with in an unspecified manner. Then, they're going to blow up the bedrock knob, and I'll be done in a minute. You cut me off last time, and I got to cut you off this time. Okay, now this is what the valley infill is going to look like in 5, 10, and 15 years. Okay, we're going to have 27 million tons of trash placed on top of the Tantello former toxic waste site. Now, is this a good idea? I don't think so. Not only that, but then to get proper slope, they have to go up 7 more stories, which is 2 times the Gould Hotel. If you need that. And then they have to have, for drainage, more sloping on the sides. Okay? If you want to complain, here's some people to complain to. Kimberly Merchant at the EDC headquarters, or an email, and there's some more on that table there, you can find those. Thank you very much.
Good evening. I'm Anna Michelle. I'm 10 Dunlap from Hector, New York. I will read you a quote from the founder of the Green Amendment movement. No matter where you live, I am here to say that you should dramatically raise your expectations when it comes to the environment. You have a right to pure water, clean air, stable climate, and a healthy environment. It's as simple as that. New York State passed this amendment in 2021 with 70% of New York State's voters. There are constituents and there are elected board members. The board members are not beholden to the constituents, though they would be well advised to. When you have this many people coming out here on cold winter nights in January, and November, and December, standing up and taking their time to voice their concerns about this dump. And you do absolutely nothing except vote it forward, except for one of you. I question the Lord's wisdom, and I would look at their bank accounts.
I'm Michelle King, I live in Seneca Falls. The last time that I was here and I spoke to you, I spoke a little bit about living there my entire life, the issues of wetland protection, air quality for our schools and our nursing homes, tourism, our future generations, and of course the cancer clusters in our area. All of these have been well spoken to at these meetings, and have been given a lot of statistics about the realities of these things. Today, I spent a few minutes Googling other ways to get rid of our trash. And I know that there have been people here that have spoken that really have expertise in these areas. We certainly all can do a better job with composting, recycling, reducing, reusing, donating, and buying less stuff. We all can do a better job of that. I also found out a little bit about some of the sciences of waste to energy, anaerobic digestion, and advanced technologies with pyrolysis and plasma arc gasification. They're all pretty ready, available on Google. Coming here tonight and seeing the vote happen right out of the gate, I do want to compliment Frank Schmitter for at least having some accountability for his vote and being able to explain why he voted the way he did, I would charge the rest of the board to do the same, since there is going to be some documentation of this vote. I feel that they should be held accountable for their vote and being able to validate why they voted the way they did. And I'm really hoping that when that comes into print, it's going to show something besides monetary values. Thank you.
Kimberly Sadie.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor and board members. Tonight, at 9 o'clock, our president will be giving a speech to the nation in Congress. I'm going to make a recommendation to this board that is one of you, and I'd like you to entertain this, one of you make a motion that today we are all Ukrainians.
Kimberly here. We have Martha Bond. Okay, that's all I have on the list. If anybody else would like to speak, please come up.
You may have misread my name. I don't write very well. White?
Come on up, Fred. Let's go outside here.
My name is Mary Grace. I live at 10 Martha Street, Seneca Falls. I have a question for Board Member Caitlin Laskowski. Caitlin, many people in this room are aware that you sold your property on Cuba Street quite a while ago. And I've been wondering for a long, long time, is it true that you no longer reside with your children in the town of Seneca Falls? And I just wonder, Caitlin, if indeed it is true that you don't live in the town of Seneca Falls, that why you're still involved in the Seneca Falls board and the business of the town of Seneca Falls. And I think it's just a question that many, many people in this room have wondered for a long time. I don't really expect an answer, Caitlin. I think it's just kind of what maybe you and I would call the elephant in the living room, so to speak.
I live in Seneca Falls, so you're welcome to contact me at any time. I'm always readily available.
I hate to represent the elephants, but I guess I will. I'm Steve White, and I'm from Skaneateles, so I'm not a resident here, but I have good friends. One of them has been on that board at this one for a long time. I represent the town and the village of Skaneateles, and I have the backing of the people. Thank you. And I have the backing of the people all around Skaneateles Lake, starting on the east side from Scott and Spafford, and into Ordina was the town between on the fire department there. Then down into the village of Skaneateles, and around the other side, all the way up Onondaga County, all the way up to Niles and Sempronius. And all of those towns have all expressed interest in what's going on here, and have expressed a disaster thing, because in my job as a fireman, it's not a job, it's a fun thing, sometimes. I have answered 2 calls from trucks that dump stuff going up, one on east side, one on west side of the lake. One was garbage. One was an oil truck that dumped oil in. We have been begging for years to have Route 41, 41A, that's both sides of Skaneateles, 39A, each side of Alaska Lake, changed their designation so that the trucks couldn't get on those 2 roads with trash. There's no need for New York City trash to come all the way up here and dump their stuff and follow the drinking water for not only Skaneateles where I now live in the village, but all the city of Syracuse and several of the surrounding communities. 250,000 people drink that water. And little by little, sometime it's going to happen if these trucks keep coming. Now, the truck traffic through the village, my wife and I own a building, and I'm in the antiques business, and I just gave up my store, rented it to somebody else, but we still own the building. In the years I've been there, and it's not quite as long as she's been there, I had to marry the girl to get the space in the building. Worked out very well. We have had to change, repair the section of our sewer from the store all the way to the village in the middle of the street because of the vibration of the truck traffic for years and years and years. Now, I have to say that Seneca Meadows did at one point put in their contract that the trucks are not supposed to go on those roads. Some of them still sneak on. High Meadows won't go along with that. I don't know why. I don't know them. And I've never met anybody that has any ownership in either one of them. But for opportunity to take their trash. I drive Route 17 down to New York a lot and over to southern Connecticut and so forth. There is a ton of land that's available that doesn't bleed right into the Finger Lakes. And I don't even talk about the east end. I didn't even know until tonight that the trash came down. So that's how we're going right along the Finger Lakes. Finger Lakes is a place where a whole bunch of us, maybe a bunch of people here, make a living. I made a living off the Finger Lakes for years because people came to the Finger Lakes to see the show, see the atmosphere of it all, and came to my store, bought my stuff, and so it did very well. But anyway, there is no reason that any of those trucks have to come up here except for, and she came in for the money. The truckers got more money than we got. They love it. And the biggest one that I know of is Seneca, the biggest circus. I don't hear it. Anyway, the truckers have been donating to the politicians for years. And the politicians won't change won't force the DEC, Department of Transportation, those designations for those roads. And there's no reason that the land much closer to New York City, it doesn't bleed into anything other than another street, have to come up here. I wish you luck, and I would like to know if anybody has ever asked each of all you folks now to stand up and give maybe a couple of sentences and say why you voted for this instead of against it. And ask you, have you ever taken any money for political reasons, for any election? Thank you.
I'm a home lockdown, and I live in the development in Seneca Falls, and I just wanted to make sure that you don't forget about the animals at the Montezuma Wildlife Refuge. It's important for us to be healthy, but I think it's our responsibility to take care of the animals that God gave us. So that's all I wanted to say.
Anyone else with privilege of the floor?
Except the squirrels.
Good evening, it's my first meeting here tonight. I think there's a wonderful people here. And I would like to make sure that we have dialogue with you guys. I think we learned some of the process, so I would love to hear from you for your vote, please. Since the vote was taken first, without you saying anything, we'd love to have you here. I want to hear why you voted what you voted. I don't know what's right. I'd like to hear.
I voted pass for the MOU because I think you do need to be protected if the DEC comes in with the permit. You need to have something in place.
I voted no on the MOU specifically because I didn't feel like there was any additions as to how they were going to better mitigate the odor. They did mention the aerial drones and the handheld H2S systems, but I felt like it should have been in the contract that they should put out a call with at least the H2S handheld monitor. And regarding the permit,
any batteries?
And then for the permit, I just sat and went through all the letters, and the overwhelming public feeling was that they don't want it, so.
One of the reasons was I helped negotiate the host agreement that built on the one that Mike Farrar and Caitlin Laskowski did. Frank and I were on that committee. The other thing I remember when Steve Churchill was on the board, and Mike Farrar asked Steve, you're that upset, why don't you make a motion that we stop taking the money from Seneca? And Mike says, I'll second it. And Steve said, and I'll never forget this, as long as they're going to put trash in Seneca Falls, we're going to take the money. And that's how I feel. This is just a host agreement. The state, if they give a permit, then the town will get compensated for the trash that's put in our town. I don't believe the 2007 agreement does the town any justice. We don't get compensated enough. And this vote on the MOU is not saying to do the expansion. It's up to the state. And as far as the people that talk about the health, I read that 164-page thing that the landfill had to answer. It's probably going to be 1,500 pages long. There are questions that ask about the health, and they will answer that in their secret agreement that they have to do with the state of New York. So when the secret is done, the state of New York will make a decision on whether or not the landfill is going to operate. But if they are going to operate, as far as I'm concerned, they got to pay for it, and that's what that MOU does. As far as the permit, I voted for the permit because for the last 14 months we held up the permit. The landfill is operated every day except when it was windy and they couldn't get the trucks on top of the hill. So they operate with the permit or not operate with the permit. So for me, what is the difference if they have the permit? At least the permit has a lot of guidelines in it. It's like anything that you do that you get a permit for. Just like driving your car or learner's permit. It's a permit that gives you the privilege of doing something. Without the permit, there is no enforcement. With the permit, I believe there is some kind of enforcement, and that's why I voted for the permit. And thank you very much for listening.
It's hard, well, there's been plenty of conversations that we have had among board members, and I was part of the initial negotiations with the former supervisor Farrar, and sitting within those meetings, there was much discussion as to the issues that have been brought forth to me, okay, the order complaints, the concerns. I have gone to Second Meadows, I have met with them, I have also met with those that are in opposition of it, and I am, in an accurate way, what my fellow members have expressed, is that this provides the guidelines. It is not up to the state, as long as, and this is my perspective on it, is that if we have this memorandum, that this provides us support and certain guidelines on how to proceed with most of the concerns that have been presented to me, among other things. And I strongly consider to be both perspectives of it. It is hard, and I have felt the emotion, the strong emotion, on both sides. And I want you to understand that I have taken this into consideration. I know that there are a number of opinions in terms of disagreement with my vote. However, this is just one that I felt was the better option, alternative, because again, this is not up to the state. So thank you.
thank you for allowing me to speak. Thank you for the board's service. People don't understand the extent of what goes into their work. Certainly, the landfill is a polarizing issue in Seneca Falls. You're either for it or you're against it, and we need to be treating people with we need to be, how's that? As long as we keep respecting each other and treating each other with dignity, that's the most important thing.
Can you hear me? Yeah. My name is Mike Fry. I live on Seneca Lane. I want to thank you everywhere and the highway department for keeping our roads clear this winter and the rest of the town under very difficult conditions with the lack of salt and sometimes gasoline. I want to thank the board for hosting this. Again, it's another opportunity for people to speak their mind. I'm going to make some people unhappy, but they're lifelong friends of mine, and again, it's no disrespect from what I'm saying. I don't know if you understand it or not, but the landfill has operated 3+ years out of the last 5 without a permit from the town. Think about it, 3 out of the last 5 years. They've operated without a permit from the town, okay? With no interruption of services. In other words, the permit is pretty much meaningless. In my 4 years of office, 2 violations, odor violations, came to the zoning officer. Both violations were corrected by the landfill. What's happened in the last 14 months, I don't have any idea. You're going to hear people tonight, or you heard people tonight talk about a cancer cluster. These people are very smart people, and they all know all of us have cancer genes in our bodies. All of us, okay? The question is, what makes those genes mutate? When I was diagnosed with kidney cancer 6 years ago, what caused the genes in my body to mutate? Was it the 2 toxic waste dumps on Fall Street? Was it the water I drank that was polluted from Puga Lake by farms and golf courses and wineries? Okay, was it the chemicals from that? Was it the 45 years that I've smoked? Was it the 40 years that I drank scotch? Was it the landfill? Or was it from my mother who started using new gadgets in the 60s called Teflon pans? Maybe it was that, but I don't know. Okay, I really don't know. Seneca Guardian, I'm sure, is here tonight, and they will tell you about all the things wrong with the landfill. About 3 years ago, I facilitated a meeting with Yvonne and her group, and I began to tell them I considered myself an environmentalist. And then all the so-called professionals smirked at me and laughed at me. And I said, grow up, we're here to discuss things. And I proceeded to tell them why I consider myself an environmentalist. With the help of a great staff, we started a recycling program and compost program at Waterloo Middle and High School almost 20 years ago. The former town administration, Dawn, Caitlin, Frank, and myself, started a compost program that provided containers to pick up for all of our local restaurants, and now it's moved into our residential community. If we remove the organics from the solid waste, we wouldn't be here tonight. We would not be here, okay? There's laws on the books that require every restaurant in the state of New York to separate their organics from their solid waste. The state simply refuses to enforce it. I'd rather work with Seneca Medicals on trying to solve our solid waste problem, okay? And help remove the organics from our solid waste and pressure the state to enforce the laws already on the books. Yvonne and her friends just couldn't comprehend that. A lot of these smart people are going to talk to you about leachate. I'm sure everyone saw that the DEC and the EPA are requiring all sewer facilities to accept only leachate that's been treated with the same science that Seneca Metals is already using. Reverse osmosis, double reverse osmosis. The town takes about 33% of the leachate coming from the landfill. The leachate is cleansed and treated before it enters our sewer system. The treated leachate is no more dangerous than any of the gray water that we produce from our bathrooms and kitchens every day. The other leachate, they send to Buffalo, hot stuff, toxic, no good, dangerous, pollutant, kill you. But that's not going to last much longer, okay? I had the water tested that came from the leachate from the landfill and compared it to water samples on Berry Street. No different, no different. The same level of chemicals, the same level of pollutants. Actually, the water from the leachate from the landfill was less pollutant. The former administration that I mentioned before posted a new host agreement, not because we want the landfill to stay open. We did it to protect the people of Seneca Falls. Because the DEC issued the permit to operate, what leverage will this board or any board have to negotiate a new host agreement? Zero. That's why we did it. And by the way, they don't have to provide a host agreement. They don't have to. Okay? It's not a law. Okay? I gotta go. Okay? I gotta go. Finally, there's an election coming up in November. Let's elect people who are going to work on the issues of Seneca Falls. Infrastructure, sidewalks, new Christmas decorations, a recreational complex, okay? An indoor soccer facility, okay? Forget about the landfill. Let's move on.
Thank you.
Good work.
Either way. On the line. Just one quick thing before you leave, Mr. Farrell.
You talked about water being tested. Can you post those results on the Seneca Falls website so that we can see the results?
He can't hear you.
Do I need to speak louder?
I want to know you were talking first of all.
You talked about having the water tested.
Yeah.
Can the town council and you post those results on the website so we can actually see the actual numbers?
100% I can do that. But I would suggest that the town board redo it, but I will find those results. And absolutely.
I'm a little scared of the mic. It hasn't been working for a lot of people. Can people hear me? Hello, my name is Moss Butler. Some of you may know me as Carson. I've been a resident of Seneca Falls for probably 95% of my life. I had the pleasure to graduate with Jackson, actually. I'm 24, and I'm sure a lot of people here have family members that are young that they'd like to see stick around here. And so I know there's been a lot of talk in this room regarding the emotional and environmental impact of the landfill, but I think this can still be viewed as, I think an argument against what's going on can still be made from this economical standpoint and from a point of infrastructure. And to make that case, I want to suggest the idea that the money coming from the landfill should not be looked at as this source of free-flowing cash that we can then invest back into Seneca Falls, but as a loan. Because at some point, the people here, your children, your children's children, are going to be the ones responsible for cleaning it up. And that's infrastructure too. And I don't know about y'all, but I mean, I don't want to say anything ill against Seneca Meadows. Some people may, that's their own prerogative. But I don't know if I can count on them to be here in 100 years to keep the liner in check. And I think that's a fair point to consider when we're considering things like stewardship and sustainability. And so this, unless the investments are enough to pay off, I believe it was mentioned in the beginning of this meeting that if the Seneca Meadows paid us what they were supposed to be paying over X amount of time and we invested it properly in 10 years, maybe residents would have to pay less tax. I just would like to say that you have to consider the future cleanup of what's going to happen in this cost. And if you don't see that cost now, it's going to be your children. And I'm looking around here, I see a lot of gray hair. I think y'all want your kids around. I want to be able to see a future here. That's it. Thank you. Thank you to the council members here for being here, doing their jobs. Very pro-democracy. Thank you everyone for coming out. It's a good civic duty to participate in everything, and y'all do a wonderful job. Thank you.
Hi everybody, my name is Victoria Clarko. I've lived in Seneca Falls for about 10 years. I have heard a lot of things I haven't been able to back check tonight, and I'm just curious, I don't expect an answer, but I would love a return phone call maybe, about, you say it's on the tendency, and if 70% of people of your constituents don't want it, what are you doing to advocate for your constituents at the TDC? Like, what are you doing to prevent it? That's just a question.
Can I answer that question a little bit? So every time you send me an email, a letter, or to the clerk, before every single one of those in the DEC. So you are not a single right, you're sending it to that one that will make the final decision whether to commit to shoot or not. So you are doing that. Anyone else prepared to the floor? At this time, the floor is closed. I want to thank you all for being professional. We're going to continue the meeting, the regular agenda, and go on from there. So at this time, it's going to be my supervisory report for the town.
The amount of money that Seneca Falls landfill might give you will not keep your grandchildren healthy.
This is water cycling, we're all getting this in water. This is something you do on the plan right here. Okay, simply you put out the items, you don't let the use are in good shape, post on the site, and people come to pick up. So that would help keep stuff out of that. Also, the housing and service fair, Tuesday, April 8th at Delano. Organization that helps with housing questions and housing opportunity. Also, healthy neighborhoods, somebody's going to take action already. If you want on the website, look at that, and help people that can't afford cleaning supplies and smoke detectors and stuff in their house. It's all free and it's available to you guys. The good news is the wonderful bridge, we were able to convince the state to transfer some of the money from our DRI funding. We're going to have the bridge painted at no cost to the town. July 4th in the town, we're going to get all these symphonies coming, and we're going to do a fireworks show and everything, so we're trying to plan July 4th around that. It'd be good to come downtown and see that. Also, a lot of you people, good news is going to move into the old SCDs that have been vacant there. Bridge Street, that's Bridge Street, Fall Street there, I've been vacant for a while, so new building over there, nice. Well, I recognize some of the police officers who got awards recently, Officer Rugfeld, Sergeant McLean, Investigator Denny, and both clerks received honor awards from the Chief of the Police. And for those of you who have not got your smart meters on your water, please contact the town to set up an appointment. At some point, there will be a fee if you don't do it. They got to be installed, so if you don't have one, contact the town, and they'll set up an appointment, they'll come do it for free, just put the new meter on. It helps in many ways. One, it helps us to control the meter line, but if you have a water leak, it'll send the signal to us, and we have the body to say, hey, you're wasting water, it's running something, and we'll be able to fix it, right? So that's it for the supervisory report. I'll get on the agenda for the night. Or we have the communication that accepted in the seats.
Yes, they have.
Thank you.
We do that. Go ahead.
The next we have special events. We have the Anthony Miller Sunday Day, April 26, 2025. Can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? So carried 5-0. We have the special event for Memorial Day Parade, Seneca Falls. Can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
New business. So we have the period called the New York City Highway nomination for management plan adoption. Can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Have a second? Second. Discussion.
It's a long highway.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Mike. Go through that. We have a motion here to accept the full senior Parish 2 and 3 for the downtown core redevelopment district zoning project. Can I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second.
Discussion. Put it down on the glass. Everybody said you okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. I have a resolution for a secret determination of environmental significance for the auditorium.
I'll make a motion.
Second. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
And a resolution to adopt local law number 1 downtown core redevelopment district rezoning project.
Make a motion, we adopt the new zoning.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
And a resolution to authorize the appointment of a special officer for the town.
Make a motion, we appoint the special counsel.
Wait, hold on.
I'll just say this a little bit. So the company we're using, their attorney works for day around merging with shot and complaining from oil and oil. They're going to work for like a motion.
No, that's, he made a motion, I'll second it.
Okay. Anyone second that?
No, it's Kevin.
All in favor?
Aye.
So carried.
It's there.
I got a resolution appointing director of public works. This is just a amendment where
I make a motion, we do this resolution.
Which one are we on? I'm sorry.
Right here.
The resolution for appointment of director.
we just had it worded wrong with,
That's for retirement.
yeah. He's got to have this worded properly.
Mitch Rowe.
Second.
Make it for Mitch Rowe, so he doesn't have to pay for it. So he can earn more than $35,000
Discussion.
Oh, okay.
That's what that is.
All in favor?
Aye.
And that's only if the Civil Service Commission approves it. They
And a resolution appointing chief water treatment plant operator to a permanent position. James took the test and got 100 on it, and the pay roughly increase just makes it.
make a motion, we appoint give Jim a permanent appointment.
I'll second.
Discussion. All in favor? Aye. So carried. And a resolution appointing part-time employer senior conduct for the finance office. A motion.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Second it.
Discussion.
So this was the one you said that we'd save like half the money, right?
Yeah, so right now we pay $50 which is a temp, which is essentially the temp agency cover for us on a part-time basis. So we're paying us $28.
So so we'll have, just so I understand who's all in there, so there's Tracy, doesn't the town manager, he also has fiscal responsibility within there? Okay. Okay, and how long, who is this?
We've had a part-time position, right? Just people, different people. We had
Frank in there, CPA for a long time, then his wife got sick, he left.
It's not a new position.
Then we had Susie Triple, she left. And now this lady.
Okay.
Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? So carried. That condition to run there. Resolution authorizing the installation of larger scale mural on municipal owned building.
I make a motion, we do the mural.
Yeah, it's going to be Seneca Falls Museum and Tourism. Any further discussion?
I'm just trying to find the resolution first.
I'm really excited to see what it looks like.
Is there?
Just that this is the beginning of the process. This is not the end.
They're not just going to show up the mural, so we're going to vote on that too.
And the Bonifiglia Foundation is?
Yeah, so no cost to the town.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
So we have a resolution for the year-end budget transfer from the finance office.
I'll make a motion.
Second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We have a resolution to purchase Easy-Go electric utility vehicle for the.
I make a motion, we purchase the electric vehicle. Climate Smart Committee got the money.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. We have a resolution authorizing the award of water valve supplier. Motion.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Authorize the award of asbestos abatement professional service contract.
I'll make a motion.
Second. Discussion.
I just have a question in terms of, would it be more fiscally responsible for us to have employees of the town get trained in a asbestos abatement versus having a company?
I did just like I said with Joe, didn't defend it like a class. Well, it's better if he's going to get 2 breaks over asbestos. It's just that old line where we're going to replace what pump station.
Are we going to, will we potentially run into it more as we?
Training is very expensive for us to keep someone trained. A lot of schools that. We look at it as cost side is much cheaper. And when the past shock, this is the best way to go.
Okay.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We have a transfer of money for the highway department.
I make a motion, we transfer the money.
I'll second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
We have a resolution for the tree cutting bids, lumber mat.
I make a motion, we accept the lowest bid for the tree cutting.
I'll second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Have a resolution for heavy equipment bid results.
Make a motion, we accept the bid results for the heavy equipment needed for the town periodically.
I'll second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. Have a resolution for backup internet power provider. It's not in your resolution, but it's going to come out of the budget, 81010.404. Got a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
That's for the police coming out of his budget.
Got a resolution to approve purchase of 2025 Chevy Silverado 3500 for the Department of Public Works. The budget is item out of 81710.
Make a motion, we buy the truck.
Second.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Wait, I opposed.
Oh, sorry. Carried 4-1. The resolution for the Yankee bus day trip.
I make a motion, we do the bus trip.
I'll second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, at the previous resolution that we done tonight, we had to we're trying to push this through, we're trying to get that pump station resolved, we're going to get this, we just have a public hearing, April meeting for the structure of the force main, the acquisition of land rights, land necessary therefore.
So this is a part of the process in dealing with when you have new investment into already created districts. That's what this is. The resolution before you is simply to have a public hearing at the next regular meeting, and at that point we can discuss the finances of it all, and we'll be opening bids before then. But this allows the financing through the Environmental Facilities Corporation to keep moving forward.
Thank you, Ken.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That would be 0%. That's the minimum. This is he spoke of that. The one that was back on. The public hearing, we're going to go through that, some kind of state corporation. 0%. That's the one.
Make a motion.
Public hearing.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
That motion made those.
That's King Road.
Second.
Second.
Discussion on paying those.
Second.
Yeah, it should be.
All in favor of paying those?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. I'm going to make a motion on the executive session for matters related to collective negotiations underneath the
That's
town
me.
law.
I got it.
Make a motion.
Didn't take long.
Thank you everyone for attending tonight. We're going to go into executive session. There will be no action when we file. We're going to go over that later, so I know some of you might want to talk to us. We'll be here for a few minutes and then we're going to head to executive session. So if anybody has any questions, come on along with us. We'll go ahead and try to answer for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.